Welcome to This Week in Baseball Player Profiles as we profile former Maize High School and Stanford alum Brent Milleville. Welcome to the show, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Yeah, well, I wish we could have done it in person, but with the temperatures outside, it's here in Kansas, it's starting to get a little bit frigid. So I appreciate you taking some time coming on to the shows.
Yeah, no problem at all.
All right, so here we go. Growing up as a youth here in Wichita, what was that like playing baseball?
It was pretty special. I mean, we had a lot of people that a lot of players, good players that went on to do big things. And, I think the landscape looked a little different than what it looks today. We didn't have a lot of academies, at that time. You just kind of had a lot of teams, where, the parents and the kids kind of built the teams, as we grew up. And then, as I got into middle school and high school, then, sluggers came around and some other academies and things came together like that. And you'd have some kids, move, and, teams kind of changed around a little bit, but, being here in Kansas, like I said, I mean, we got a lot of good competition, always have a lot of people, that are here, that are willing to, that have gone and played and willing to give back and, learn a lot. And, obviously it was a lot of fun, but, it was a good time, so, but like I said, a little different than what the landscape is today, for sure.
Right. So did you always knew you wanted to play baseball growing up?
Yeah, I mean, baseball was kind of my, always my passion. When I was younger, that was the thing. I was going to go on and, I was going to be a big leaguer and do all that. And I played basketball and football as well, into high school. Ended up making the decision in high school kind of between football and baseball to go on and do baseball. But, baseball was kind of always my number one love, if you will. And, that's obviously the route that I decided to go. So.
Well, you brought up Maize High. At Maize High, which I find this very impressive, you were two-time Gatorade Player of the Year. Right. You were a first-team All-American voted by Collegiate Baseball. And your senior year, you were ranked 35th best player in high school in the nation at Maize. And I'm assuming these are still records. I have not confirmed this with Rocky, but you lead the all-time team in home runs with 19 and 117 RBIs in your career at Maize. Tell us about your time at Maize.
Very blessed, to be around, at the high school level and be around the coaches, that we were lucky enough to have there. The amount of knowledge, that I took from high school to the college level, it was vast. I mean, I went into, obviously a, major D1 program and came in with, more baseball knowledge than just about any other player. So, that kind of shows you the level, of coaching that we got, in high school. And it wasn't just at Maize, obviously, but, the level of coaching that we were getting at Maize was just really second to none. But we had a lot of good players, a lot of great players, a lot of guys that love the game, and a lot of good guys too. I mean, we always had a team that we all got along. We had a lot of fun, and there was probably some luck involved in some of that, but we had great seasons. And like you said, I mean, we were able to win state twice when I was there, and it was pretty special, being able to play with your friends and play at that level and do it every year.
Right.
So it was a lot of it was a lot of fun. But again, I mean, I got to go back to, you know, Rocky and his staff, you know, at the time, and I know he's still putting together, you know, a great staff today. But really, we just got, you know, coaching that was second to none, and you know, I think that's a big factor there. You know, especially at the high school level, that can really make a big difference. So
right, and then playing in the summer. You brought up Sluggers. You played at Sluggers. Obviously, you had Stanford as one of your coaches. What was that like playing summer ball, not just here but around, you know, bigger tournaments and stuff like that?
yeah, I mean, it was great. You know, that was a great experience. And you know, again, I kind of mentioned that, you know, in our area, you know, in Kansas, there weren't a lot of academies, and you know, Standford, you know, he was able to, you know, kind of get Sluggers really going, you know, with Tom Buchanan as well. And we did a lot of showcase tournaments, you know, so we'd go play at, you know, a lot of the colleges around, and, you know, playing some bigger tournaments, and, you know, trying to just get in front of college coaches, obviously, you know, get as much exposure as possible, no different than anything everyone's doing today. But, you know, it was a lot of fun, you know, going and, you know, being able to step foot on, you know, the field at KU or at Oklahoma State or, you know, Missouri, and, you know, being able to, you know, kind of, like I said, experience a little bit of, you know, the field and playing there, and then playing in front of a lot of people. It was, you know, it was a lot of fun. So,
well, you need to help me sell a debate here, and I already pretty much know which way you're probably going to lean. We did the all-decade teams.
right.
I'm telling you right now, it was not easy, especially in your era. We've had a lot of great kids come through through the academy over the years. Who would win, your era or the 2011 through 20 era?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think you know which way I'm going to go with that. But we had a pretty good team that you guys, you know, you were able to go through and pick and choose. But I got to go with us. You know, a lot of us are getting old now and washed up, but back in the day, like you said, you look at that list of names, and you know, their accomplishments, where they went to school, and you know, the ones that went on to play pro ball, and you know, we had a pretty good there's a pretty good group there in that first decade. So I think I'll have to go with that one for sure.
All right. So moving on, you went on to play college at Stanford. Tell us about your experience at Stanford.
You know, Stanford was it's a special place. You know, I learned a lot there. You know, had a great group of players. You know, it's not a lot different than, you know, what I was lucky enough to experience in high school. A lot of great players. We had a great group, and you know, obviously Stanford's a great school. That's what kind of, you know, led me to making the decision to go out there. But it was great. I mean, we were able to play, you know, at the highest level of competition, and you know, in college, and you know, we put together some really good teams, and we didn't do as well as, you know, I think we should have a couple of years, but you know, we did go to the College World Series 2008. Missed making it to the championship game, but we ended up, you know, like third place, tied for third. That was a pretty special experience in one of the last years at Rosenblatt. So it was, you know, it was a lot of fun. I got to play with a lot of good players, play against a ton of, you know, great players. And, you know, like I said, I mean, outside of baseball, the school is, you know, just can't be beat, you know, as far as the level of education and the people that you're surrounded with, that you get to meet. It's pretty special. So.
Right. Before I move on to my next question, you went to Stanford, and we've had other guys go to other big schools as well. But it's so hard to get kids to leave the state of Kansas nowadays, because we have so many colleges here. There's 38 opportunities here. what made you feel like you could go so far away? So kids can understand that.
You know, I was blessed, and, you know, I had the opportunity to, you know, go visit some big schools, you know, out of state. Obviously Wichita State was right there at the top of my list, you know, as another option. You know, so I really just wanted to get out and see some different parts of the country, you know, visit some of the schools in different conferences, and, you know, just kind of see what they had to offer. But you know, getting out and going to Stanford, like I said, I mean, once I set foot on campus with the, you know, academic nature of Stanford University, it was almost a no-brainer. I mean, as soon as I saw the campus and how beautiful it was, and like I said, knew about the baseball program, you know, knew about the school. As soon as I stepped foot on campus, I kind of made my decision that this is the place that I needed to go. But you know, it's tough, you know, and it was tough. It was a tough decision for me to, you know, get up and you know, leave. You know, like I said, I'd grown up playing with, you know, a lot of the guys at Wichita State, and I've always been, you know, proud of Wichita, proud of Kansas. You know, I graduated. As soon as I graduated at Stanford, I moved back. You know, I live in Wichita today. So, you know, that was tough, not being able to, you know, put together a team, you know, of a lot of local guys and, you know, go compete at the highest level. But again, like I said, you know, getting out and, you know, it's good to get out and, you know, experience something new, you know, at the same time. And like I said, it was really the school, you know, that kind of set Stanford apart for me. But
Right. Okay. You brought up the World Series. What was it like playing in Omaha in front of all those passionate people that love the game of baseball?
yeah, it was unreal. You know, it was by far my coolest, you know, my most special moment in my playing career, you know, getting out there for the first time in front of that many people, you know, and being able to go and play, you know. We were lucky enough, you know, we won our first game. So that was a pretty special moment, you know, to be, like I said, be out there, you know, all those people, you know, cheering you on, and you know, just a little bit different, you know, there's some different schools you can go to and get good crowds and things like that, but, you know, not at that level usually. So that was definitely probably my most special moment. I would say is, you know, really just stepping out on the field that first time and, you know, winning that first game there in Omaha.
Well, in 08, you were an honorable mention All Pac 10. You had 11 home runs, 54 hits, 57 RBIs. To me, that's in playing in the conference that you played in, those are pretty impressive stats. And I was going to ask you about give me a memory of a college game, but I decided I have my own memory. And you kind of broke my heart. I'm a huge FSU man. I'm from Florida myself. So you had a game where you guys scored 11 runs, and I believe it was in the 9th inning.
Yeah, yeah, it was in I think it was in the 8th or the 9th inning. But yeah, I think that was that first game I'm talking about, and that was at Rosenblatt in the College World Series.
Yes. What was that experience like to put that many runs on such an exceptional program?
Well, you know, it kind of brings up a lot of things actually. You know, I was watching closely. You know, obviously we needed to win in the Super Regional to advance to Omaha. But I was also paying close attention to the Florida State, because Florida State was playing Wichita State in that Super Regional. So I was really rooting for Wichita State to win that, and then that would have been our matchup with Wichita State in our first game in the College World Series, which I think at the time also what my cousin probably would have pitched against us, Rob Musgrave, who was an All-American at Wichita State. So I was really rooting for them, and Florida State came out and, you know, did beat them out in the Super Regional. So so we got matched up with Florida State, and you know, Buster Posey. Yeah, we just put together a pretty special inning. I still think it's tied for the record, for the most runs in an inning, along with maybe some other things, in College World Series history. But we were able to kind of put up, just a crazy little run there. I remember, actually, I think Buster Posey may have been the one pitching at the time. He was pretty special in college, if you don't know, but he could play, and he played multiple times at every position in a game. But I think he was in, and I was up, and we got a sac fly. I got a sac fly to knock in kind of the go-ahead run, and then everything just kind of came unglued after that. We batted around. I got up again. I ended up hitting a home run, which was pretty cool. That was the one home run I hit in the College World Series. But yeah, it was just one of those times where everything came together. And, just everybody kind of was playing out of their mind and knocking the ball around. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, like I said, I mean that was definitely like I said, probably the most special moment in my playing career, just because it was at that level too. Right. So.
And I really appreciated that in the World Series. Thanks. You had an opportunity to go play at Cape Cod, and that's very special to be selected to go play there. It's not easy for anybody to just go play at Cape Cod. Just tell us about the Cape Cod League.
The Cape Cod League was obviously, I mean, the competition was at a very high level. I was lucky enough to, previously I'd played in Alaska, played in the Northwoods League after my freshman and sophomore year. And then after my junior year is when obviously I went and played in Cape Cod, and just the level of competition there in Cape Cod it was just, well above anything else that I had seen, and even in, obviously, playing in the Pac-10 at the time, the Pac-12 today, or, any of the Power 5 conferences. I mean, you're facing some major, competition day in and day out, but, you kind of pick and choose, and as far as the Cape, I mean, you're seeing a lot of the best in a lot of those conferences every day. And, really, I would say that, at the Cape Cod, you're playing at a, professional baseball, the caliber of competition, every day, so it was pretty eye-opening. You go from, 94, 95 is pretty fast, in college, seeing that a guy that can, bump it up to 94, 95, at any moment in time. And in the regular season's pretty, like I said, pretty special. Go to the Cape Cod, and I mean, it's every game. That's what you're seeing, seeing somebody that can, run it up there high, mid-high 90s, every day. So it's an adjustment, getting used to that and seeing it all the time. It's just, everything just was taken up a little, another notch. But, got to play against a lot of great players, and, got some great experience, there. So it was a lot of fun. It definitely was a lot of fun. So,
you got drafted by the Angels. You remember that day pretty vaguely. What was that like that day you got drafted by the Angels?
Yeah, it was very special. That was coming out of high school. I'd been doing some talking with some scouts. I was lucky enough to, potentially have the option of, going pro out of high school or deciding to go on to college. So that was kind of a long process, through the latter part of my, high school career. But yeah, it was very special, moment. Like I said, I'd talked with multiple people, and, I'd really kind of made up my mind that I was going to go play in college. Just wasn't gonna get drafted at the level that, it would take for me to go. And that was a decision that, had to be made is, what would it take, obviously, to, skip college and go play professionally. So the fact that the Angels, just thought that I was a good enough player that they really just wanted to give me a pat on the back and draft me, and then also with the chance that they didn't get a top round draft pick signed, maybe some money would open up and then they'd be able to come in with an offer. But just the fact that, they, drafted me with kind of a, like I said, a pat on the back, good job. And also, like I said, well, if we can, we'll do something to try to get you to come to the pro ball. But it's obviously very special. So, like I said, I mean, I was, 99% sure I was going to be going to college and all of that. So the fact that they still took one of their picks to, like I said, kind of, took their pick on me was pretty special.
Okay. So youth kids growing up now, what advice can you give to parents for youth kids?
To parents, I would say, I mean, the game's got to be fun. I think that's the most important thing, it's got to be fun. And other than that, I mean, I think the most important thing that anyone can do is to go out there and play hard every day. That was something that I always took pride in. I remember times in high school, coaches and, scouts and things like that, coming up to me after games and saying, man, you play hard. That was something that our coaches in college also really pushed. We would sprint out to our positions, in between every inning. We would sprint out, sprint on, sprint off the field. But running out a ground ball, rounding first hard on a single, and looking for that opportunity to take second, that's the kind of stuff that anybody can go do, but a lot of people don't. That's how you can really set yourself apart, to be able to go play at the next level. That's the kind of things people are looking for. So I really realized in college, and then as the longer and longer I've been out and seeing the guys that I know that are still playing, at the highest level today, is hard work and your work ethic. It really matters. That's not something that I saw as much when I was playing. Hard work matters. And, there were some guys that worked their way into positions. But now that I've been out of it longer and longer and seeing the guys that are still around, the guys that are still playing today and have been playing for 10 plus years, those guys were the hardest working guys that I played with or played against. So they're the ones that knew how to take care of their body, obviously. I don't know how they're still doing it, because I gave up baseball after college. I had some nagging injuries and I just hit a point that it wasn't fun for me anymore. So I decided to go the other route, but I couldn't imagine still playing, with, like how I felt, 11 years ago. It's pretty impressive. But like I said, I mean, hard work, hustle, those are the kind of things that anybody can do. And it's really the things that coaches and scouts and, that everybody really wants to see. I mean, obviously you've got to have talent and, there's a lot of things you can do to that, work with people. But again, I mean, there's a lot of things that you can develop as well. So if I had to say anything again to parents is, it's got to be fun and, just as soon as you can, just teach your kids how to, really have a good work ethic and respect the game and play it the right way. Those are going to be the most important things in them being able to go to the next level and, have success.
Right. Well, with things going on now, COVID kind of ruining some baseball for last year for some kids. Obviously, there's more high schools around here, more opportunities for kids. What advice could you give to those class of 21 kids and the class of 22 kids?
To start off, I feel terrible for you guys. This is a rough thing that we're going through. And, I couldn't imagine, having to go through something like this when I was in high school or, even, middle school, high school, college. I can't imagine having to go through this. But I mean, I would recommend to you guys that, learn the game as much as possible. There's a lot of things you can learn by watching, watching big league ball on TV, watch that, watch what the guys do at the plate. You'll see, obviously, and most of you guys probably know this, but I mean, work your way into a routine and watch what their routines are, and try to figure out why they're doing what they're doing, because they're doing it for a reason. 90% of those guys have things that they do for a reason. Now there's still 10% that just go out there and play ball and don't think too much about it. But don't get me wrong there, but the majority of those guys, everything that they do, there's a purpose behind it.
Right.
So, just work on it, as much as you can, get out. There's a lot of things that obviously you can do, no matter where you're at, a lot of drills that you can do, at home. Probably don't want to do it this weekend here, right. but just, tee work and stuff like that. I mean, as from a hitter's, previous hitter's point of view, there's nothing better that I could have done when I was playing, than just going out and hitting on the tee, tee and front toss. I mean, those were the two drills that I did the most that helped me out. But, it's going to be tough, obviously. And, you just got to make the most of what you can do, because that's all you can do. You can't do anything more. So, like I said, I mean, use your resources. I mean, obviously today too, I mean, there's just a lot of stuff out there, to just be able to go and educate yourself, learn about the game and things like that. But, and staying in shape would be a big one too. I mean, you can do that just about anywhere. So, just work hard and work what you can do. And, hopefully, this year we'll get the opportunity for all the kids to get out and, play a full season and, get a little bit closer back to normal.
Right.
So I hope that is definitely the case, but, but yeah, like I said, just at any moment in time, use what you've got and get out and do it. I mean, a lot of people have done that, and, you hear the stories of, the Hank Aaron's and things, going out and hitting bottle caps with broomsticks and stuff, right. I mean, there's you can do anything, you've got to go do it though.
Right.
Like I said, it's rough, but making excuses for yourself, isn't going to help you. So, like I said, go make the most of it. And, not everyone's going to be doing that. So that's going to be the thing that you can do to, give yourself the leg up on the next guy.
Right. So when you played, and I want to use you as an example because you did make it to the highest level. I mean, playing at Stanford is a tremendous honor. What did you do? Because your era back here, we didn't have as many high schools. And so the talent level, there's so many kids in each high school, and the talent level was high. What did you do to separate yourself in the off season from everybody else?
I think there's a couple things. For one, I played, like I said, I was a 3-sport guy, coming into high school. So my freshman year, I played all 3 sports. After my freshman year, I decided to go ahead and I gave up basketball, so that way I could kind of focus on baseball in the winter. I was also lucky I had the opportunity to go play in some different showcase tournaments and things like that in the winter, which is another reason that I'd chosen to do that. But so I wasn't playing basketball. So, it was every day after school. I mean, we had a group, and anybody who was going to play baseball that, was not playing a winter sport, we were in there and working out. I mean, it was like it was a player run practice, I mean, we'd get together, we'd go, we'd work out, we'd condition, and a lot of us were, like I said, sluggers or things like that. We'd go hit, and we'd work on our skills, work on the game, every day after practice. I'm a big proponent of, multiple sports though. I think that there's a lot of things you can gain from, learning those other skills and just being, an overall athlete. But if you decide for, whatever reason to, focus on 1 or 2 sports, when you're not when you have the time, you've got to, you got to pick the time and work on it, work to get better. So I think that's something that I learned in high school. Luckily, again, this is, coming from Rocky, but Rocky truly understands the importance of getting into baseball shape, which, a lot of people outside of baseball don't think that, think a lot of baseball players are, fat and slow and don't need to run or do any of that. But, you've got to be in shape for the season. So, you're not out there running a couple miles to, make it through the next game. It's for the season, as you get older and as you play. I mean, it's a long season and you play a lot of games and it's hard on your body. So, don't think just because, you're playing high school ball and you feel, young and strong and good and you're, a freshman or sophomore that you don't need to go condition, because you're not conditioning for, that next season. Even you're conditioning for the summer and the next season and so on and so forth. So,
okay. Hobbies. What hobbies do you have?
I've always been kind of an outdoor guy. I like to hunt and fish. Been harder lately. I've got 2 young kids now, so I don't get out near as much as I'd like. But right now I would say I'd say my hobbies are probably my kids.
Okay.
I got a 3-year-old and a 1.5-year-old, so they kind of have to be, at this age. So, but they're fun. We get them out and do, whatever we can do. Obviously it's been tough on us this year, having to try to keep those kids entertained and not having as many options to get them out of the house with COVID.
Right.
And everything. But those have kind of been always my hobbies though. I like to get out and hunt and fish, be outside, be outdoors. So outside of sports, obviously those were always my hobbies, and I'll get back into them again here before too long.
I hear you.
Right now, yeah, they're kind of on the back burner for sure.
Okay. Favorite major league team?
You got to go with the Royals. When I was young, I would probably have said the Mariners, and that was because Ken Griffey. Every kid growing up that was my age, everyone idolized Ken Griffey Jr. He had the neatest swing probably in the history of baseball, and obviously they had a pretty good squad. But definitely got to go with the Royals. I'm a big Kansas or area sports supporter, so I'm a big fan of all the colleges. A lot of people think I'm crazy, but I'll support KU and K-State, Wichita State, and then obviously Chiefs, Royals, and then in the other colleges as well, but yeah, got to go with the Royals, I'd say.
Okay.
For sure.
And obviously, growing up, Griffey was your favorite. Who's your favorite player now?
I gotta go. I guess for the one that I root for the most is one of my good buddies, Jason Castro. But he just re-signed with the Astros. But he's been playing, like I said, doing it at the highest level for a long time. Other than that, it's tough to say. I hate to admit, but I don't watch as much baseball anymore. I've the last few years, again, with young kids and things like that, I just haven't been able to do as much and work and whatnot. But I still like to get on and pay attention to the guys that, like I said, that I played against, that that are still playing,
Right.
at that level. And I wouldn't say that I necessarily root for individual players, other than I just want to see guys going out there and playing the game the right way. So I'm going to root for anybody that's, like I said, that's out there, that's working hard and not afraid to go and play some team ball when they need to. So
Right.
that's kind of a big thing with obviously the Royals as well. When they had their run, they were playing baseball the right way. Which doesn't always happen at that level. Obviously you get into pro ball and the game changes a little bit, for a while. And it's really nice to see the teams that, like I said, go out and hustle. And, not afraid to move runners, bunt and, hit behind guys and things like that. So,
Right.
that's what I enjoy watching today, more than really, getting on and paying attention to individuals.
Okay. Last question here. You gave out so much advice today for players. Is there anything else that you could give to players and parents, people that are listening?
Like I said, I think the biggest thing is just get out there and hustle, and work hard. Like I said, that's what's going to set you apart. You just don't know. There's a lot of things now you can do, to market yourself and, get out there. But, ultimately, what every coach wants to see, no matter what, is, they want somebody that's talented, but they want somebody that's going to come out and work hard and hustle. And then that's what's going to set you apart more than your skills, to be completely honest. If you've got the skills, people are going to see you, but the hustle and things like that, that's where everyone's going to want to, get you, and it's going to give you that many more opportunities. And the other thing, and this is always said, but it is so important, is you just don't know who is going to be there and when they're going to be there.
Right.
The kind of the moment that opened up, all of my opportunities was in I believe it was when I was a sophomore in the high school, in the state tournament. There was a scout there. He was one of the head coaches for area code team, the Midwest area code team, and I had a good game, and I was playing hard, and he liked what he saw. He invited me to go to the area code tryouts. I had a good showing there, and was able to go to the area codes and play there twice, actually. So I played after I believe my sophomore year, and then also my junior year. But that was kind of the moment that that kind of led me to all the other opportunities that I had. I was lucky. I got to go play in major showcase tournaments in Florida. Got to play in an All-American game in Albuquerque. A nationally televised game, and all of that stuff came from that one moment, that one game. Had I had a terrible attitude, wasn't playing hard, I don't know. I don't know what would have come. I don't know what opportunities I would have got beyond that. It's hard to say. So you just never know who's going to be there and what they're going to be looking for. But the one thing that they're all looking for is, again, hard work and a good attitude. So,
well, I appreciate you again taking time out of your morning, away from your hobbies during this morning. I do appreciate your time, and again, and thank you for coming on the show.
Yep. No, thanks for having me.
I do appreciate it. And that concludes this week in baseball player profiles with Brent Milleville from the University of Stanford. Thank you.